Have you ever heard anybody say there's nothing to do in Fresno? Well, there's something to do every single day. Cool stuff, too. Our next guest, Dave
Brase.
Dave Brase, with the Alumni Association of Fresno High, would you say?
Fresno High Alumni Association.
Yeah, and
right.
Fresno High has such a rich history, and they're going to, induct some people, I guess, coming up here.
Well, we're going to do our 12th annual Wall of Champions dinner.
Okay.
Fresno High is the is the School of Champions, so we're going to do the Wall of Champions dinner at Pardini's on Wednesday, the 10th of October.
Wednesday, October 10th.
So 12th dinner.
Now, you don't have to be from Fresno High. If you're just interested in Fresno history, this is
Yeah.
going to be a cool event.
Well, it has been for 11 years. This is our 12th year, and we have people on there that I think are some of them are household names.
Okay.
Like Frank Chance, who was the last manager to take the Cubs to World Series. He was a Fresno guy. Played in 1892, but he's already inducted.
He's already inducted. I think Chance Avenue is named after him.
Chance Avenue
Fresno.
is named after Frank Chance. That's right.
Yeah. And tell us about some of the people this year.
Well, this year we have a pretty good slate. We have different people here from different areas of sports, but Ken Hoyt is one of the people we're bringing in. He's class of 1960. He was an all-around athlete, played baseball, played for City College on 2 state championship City College teams from 1961 too. Was a great boxer. They used to box at Fresno High intramural, and he was one of the best boxers in the school.
There, huh?
And very good athlete, went to Canada, played real good up in Canada, and he was a very good athlete, Ken Hoyt. Joe Kelly was the basketball coach at Fresno High from 1942 to 1953.
Wow.
And his 1943 team had a person that most people should be able to remember, and that's a guy named was Jay O'Hanion in Fresno, but he ended up changing his name to Mike Connors.
Oh, I'll be darned.
And he's known as Mannix, the TV star.
He went to Fresno High.
He was at Fresno High, but Joe Kelly was his coach, and Kelly was came to City College and won. He was a great basketball coach. Takeo Kunishige was in the class of 1936, and Takeo has a very interesting story. Takeo actually played with my dad at Fresno High in 1935.
Oh, be darned.
And Takeo played on the first football team at Fresno High to beat the Drillers in 1934.
Who were the Drillers?
The Bakersfield Drillers, who
I
were kind of the nemesis of most schools in this area.
The Drillers.
Anyway, excuse me, Takeo ended up being an all-around athlete at Fresno High. He joined the Army in 1938. Pearl Harbor came along, and there was a presidential order where all Japanese Americans had to go to these camps. Anyway, he did that, survived that, came back to Fresno after going through all that. Had 3 years of his life in Colorado in that camp. Anyway, came back and became a very successful businessman down in Texas, and then came back and opened the Daiichi Japanese restaurants in Fresno.
Daiichi, of course.
Daiichi, yeah. And Takeo there's a whole story there with him. But anyway, Dick Van Gelder was a basketball coach. He played at Fresno High in 1956 when I was a sophomore there. And on a good team, real good basketball team. And that particular year, they almost won the Valley Championship, fell short. But he coached at Fresno High for 25 years. And he was a long-time coach there. The 1980 boys basketball team was the NYL champions, and there's somebody in there you probably remember because you represented the same Brian Setensich.
Yeah, he played there. That's right.
Yeah,
he did real well there. Yeah,
he did real good. But anyway, he was on the 1980 team, and Brian was a very, very good basketball player. But he was on the 1980 boys team. Don Jerkovich was part of the Jerkovich family, and the Jerkoviches are kind of highly represented on the Fresno High wall. They have one of the originals was a guy named Jim Jerkovich, and Jim was in the late 30s, and he ended up being the athlete of the year in California. And I mean, he's in there with names like Ted Williams, and right before him and after. So he was a great. But Don Jerkovich came along in the 60s. His older brother is Skip Kenny, who was the swimming coach at Stanford. Then had one more, that guy. So, and Skip was a great coach at Stanford. Billy Kemp was an all-around athlete at Fresno High, did well, played different sports. Jim Weymouth will be inducted, and he, class of 71, he was another team that Dick Van Gelder coached, and Weymouth set the scoring record at Fresno High, 1,300 points for the.
In one season.
No, not one, 3. Three seasons. Yeah. And then Bob Van Gelder was Bob Van Gelder was the class of 55. He ended up being an athletic director at Fresno State. He was the interim athletic director when Fresno State won that NIT tournament.
Yeah.
From when that team. in New York, the
Right,
basketball.
That's right. Oh, yeah, we remember that.
Yeah, that great team.
That's a big deal, yeah.
He was the interim director then, and he was an all-around athlete at Fresno High also. So it's a pretty good slate.
And what year did you play?
I played at Fresno High in 1957 and 1958.
And you said you played against a famous person.
We played very famous in the Fresno area. We played against Daryl LaMonica
Yeah,
when there was
Clovis High.
only one school in Clovis
Yeah.
at the time. And LaMonica was ended up eventually going to Notre Dame and then on to the Raiders, and he's a Super Bowl quarterback actually.
And you mentioned some other names. Jim Fugman was from Fresno High, and Tim Simons.
Yeah, Tim Simons went to Fresno High same year when I was there. He ended up being a great, people know of him as a great football coach.
Great football coach.
Jim Fugman is actually on our committee, on our Wall of Champions committee. He became they got Friedman Elementary School out there in Clovis.
Named after him.
And Pete Meas, we were talking about, was on our committee early. He was the administrator, the superintendent of
Fresno, all of
all
Fresno
of
County
Fresno.
schools. That's right.
So we've had a lot of heritage there at Fresno High. It goes back to 1889.
Yeah.
And the school here is the new school.
The new one. You still call it the new high
This
school.
is the new high school, and this is built in 1922.
Oh, boy.
So we've got
And they've rebuilt and done a lot of things out there.
it's a beautiful campus.
Now, if somebody's interested in this dinner, it's induction to the Hall of Fame or School of
Wall of Champions.
Wall of Champions, right?
Right.
And if somebody wants to go, first of all, what's the date?
It's going to be October the 10th
At Pardini's.
at Pardini's, and that's a Wednesday.
Okay.
And the tickets are $65 a piece, and they are like it's a fundraiser
Yeah.
for Fresno High. We feed the dollars that come through this back into the school, into the athletic, and the other things, academics too, for the school.
Is there a web page or someplace? How would they find out more or sign up?
They can get all the information they need at FresnoHighAlumni.com, and that's our website for the Alumni Association, and they can buy tickets there through PayPal.
Okay.
And find out what the dinner's about, find out more about Fresno High alumni too. I mean, if they're people that want to join, they can do that right there too.
Yeah, and it's the history of Fresno.
Fresno High is part of definitely a part of the history of Fresno. We've had mayors that came out of Fresno came out much of Fresno High. A couple of them, actually.
FresnoHighAlumni.com. Go there. Anything else our viewers need to know?
I think that pretty much covers
Yeah,
it,
that's
Mark.
good,
I mean,
Yeah, I might go just because it's historical. I love that stuff about what's happening in Fresno. People who came from Fresno.
well, we'd
and
love
things
to
like
have
that.
we'd
So,
love to have you show up. That'd be great.
Anybody can go, but if you're a Fresno High alumni, you should really be going. FresnoHighAlumni.com. October the 10th at Pardini's,
Yep.
and it's $65. But I'm never unhappy with a meal at Pardini's.
No, they're good. They're good meals, and the show there'll be videos of each of these people, 3-minute videos, and those videos eventually go on to what we call our Wall of Champions kiosk at Fresno High.
And the students can go and push a button and watch the video.
They press the icon, and here comes Frank Chance, or here comes Tom Seaver,
Yeah.
or whoever. We got 120 of them up there now of
There you
these
go.
3-minute videos. So.
Well, thanks for that information. We'll be back with more Central Valley business right after this.
The Fresno High Alumni Association's 12th Annual Athletic Wall of Champions Dinner will be held at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, the 10th of October at Pardini's to celebrate our school's great athletic past. Help our Alumni Association support Fresno High with its modern new campus additions to play its important role in the future of our city. For reservations, call 905-6527. To order online or for information about alumni membership, go to FresnoHighAlumni.com.